And later back at the White House, he'll be meeting with mayors and governors, including New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, who joins me now. Governor, thank you very much for being with us. A busy day at the White House. So there's a White House report this past spring that gave New Jersey a D-plus grade on infrastructure. Now, this obviously goes back decades, so you've inherited this. How important is it for you to get the infrastructure bill through in terms of, trying to rebuild bridges and get that turnpike done and everything else that we know?
Good to be with you, Andrea. May I just say for the record, this is the only time Olivia Rodrigo will ever open for me, so I'm humbled.
Well, you don't know that. It could happen again.
Amen. Listen, it's incredibly important. We're the densest state in America, in the densest region in America, and we have a disproportionate share of legacy assets, roads, bridges, rails, tunnels. We've got 2 tunnels under the Hudson River that were built in 1910. We need to build new ones. We've got bridges all over our state. So this is, I'm sure an infrastructure bill is important to all American states, and I'm honored to be here at the White House to have that discussion. But I know for sure it is a potential game changer for New Jersey.
And what do you say to Senators Manchin, Sinema, and others who are demanding, an exact pay for, which frankly is unlikely given the situation and what we're waiting for from the CBO?
Andrea, I would say with great respect, the needs are overwhelming. The last time America really focused in a comprehensive way on infrastructure was 70 years ago. And a lot has changed, needless to say. And I just think it's such a bipartisan opportunity. You want to do it in a fiscally responsible way. But boy, getting the shovels in the ground, building those new tunnels, bridges, roads, you name it. They're game changers. Broadband in rural sections, even though we're the densest state in America, we have some real rural counties that would benefit enormously from these investments. So I would just say, listen, this is one of these moments we got to trust each other and jump into it.
Now, given the coronavirus and how badly parts of your state were hit, and you've recovered so wonderfully, but what are you seeing in terms of the Delta variant and vaccination rates as you are entering into, or you're in the middle of the tourist season now with your wonderful beaches?
You betcha. So the Jersey Shore is alive and having a great summer. As I mentioned, we're the densest state in America. That's normally a good thing, not in a pandemic. So we have all the variants, including the Delta variant. It is the dominant variant in New Jersey. Having said that, Andrea, we've got just over 300 people in the hospital. To the best of my knowledge, all of them, every one of them is unvaccinated. And so I would just plead with folks. We've made enormous progress. We've got now well over 70% of our adult eligible population is fully vaccinated, and we're still at it every single day. I would just plead with people, get vaccinated. The vaccines protect you against the variants, especially against hospitalizations or worse. And that would be my plea.
And there's also a filing by some parents of New Jersey school children trying to reverse any kind of mask mandate going up against you and state officials to prevent you from instituting any mask mandates for children who may be returning to school during a potential surge or people who are among unvaccinated teachers. How are we going to handle that?
Well, we put out our recommendations a couple of weeks ago as best we can project from the end of June into what school will look like in early September. And we've recommended no masks. And I hope it stays that way. Please, God, it stays that way. Having said that, we reserve the right to, we don't dictate the terms here. The virus does. So we're going to monitor this like a hawk every single day. The good news about masking, you can turn on a dime, unlike, for instance, an HVAC system or an old school building where you need a long runway to get that fixed. A mask decision you can make overnight, literally. I hope we won't have to. Believe me, that is my strong, strong hope. And our recommendation right now is no masking. But again, we got to do the right thing by public health first and foremost.
And to what effect, to what extent, I should say, is the rise in inflation and also the labor shortage, which are, of course, linked, but how is that affecting the restaurant business, the tourist season?
Yeah, I mean, it's real, without question. Our economy is snapping back at a record pace, particularly on the shore, on our lakes, on our main streets. And the labor market is having a hard time keeping up with it. I think it's due to a number of reasons. and I think it's not one, but many, one of which is when you've got an economy which is rising like the one we have, folks actually exhibit a confidence. The economists will say there's a confidence when folks say, you know what, I can do better than the job I was in. I'm going to try to upskill myself or upsell myself. But it's real. There's no question about it. I hear it from small businesses, restaurants, bars. We're doing everything we can to work with them. I signed a bill a couple of weeks ago allowing teenagers to work more hours per week in the summer is one example, and we'll stay at it. I think it passes. I don't think it passes overnight, but I think the labor market will catch up with the economy.
Well, Governor, it's always a pleasure. We love New Jersey. Many of our team members are in New Jersey, so we've got a lot of constituents to answer for here on this show. Thank you so very much. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrea, as always.